two formats that are raced around the circuit. And will be the airborne transport super saloons that make their way out onto the grid for their heat number one. As I was saying, it is two directions that we race here at Helldrivers and the oval at Killarney, clockwise and counterclockwise. So the guys do set the cars up differently. Sometimes you'll have one class that might race in both directions in one night, but it's often that we have one class that races in their specific direction. In this case, counterclockwise for the airborne transport super saloons. We see on the front row of the grid, there will be airborne on it, or in the 129 and SLK body V8. I believe that actually is a turbo line. And then Barney Moffat just behind him in the 222, both prepped and ready by Jan de Toy and NDC Racing. Just next to him we have Martin Edler in the 94. We'll just go around to get himself into position. Next to Eric Horn we have Clarence Smith in the 28, a very nicely all white BMW E36 body. And then, as I said, Barney Moffat just behind, and then Alexander Ball in the 111 that sits at the tail end of the field.
Oh, just going to give the recovery team chance to get that 58 2-litre hot rod of Corday Esterhazen back to the pit area before we move on with the super saloons. Well, it's good to see that so many people have come out here to watch the V8 sprints. Jordy, as we look out the commentary box window, for me it's been many years since I've actually seen Castile Corner with so many people. I think the last time it was when you, Gary, was up with the commentary when the V8 sprints and the hot rods were here, when you commentated down at the pit gate exit.
That's correct, Frank. We also had the UK vs SA Challenge.
That's correct.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. I remember the stand being completely full. There's no blue to be seen, but already with just the first race of the 2026 season, I've got a feeling that the future's looking very bright, and I think those stands will end up being very full come the end of this year. But it will be the Super Saloons heading out for their formation lap now. They generally get 2 flying laps just to warm up the tyres, warm up the brakes,
After this will be junior stop.
and get themselves ready.
And then it will be 2.1s and then stop once they stop.
Then they warm up, there's their 2 laps. Mr. Paul Herald points the 2 fingers, saying they've got 2 flying laps to get themselves ready. Then the white flag will be waved, or the yellow flag rather, then we will go green. So there they go, doing their laps. The likes of Martin Edler, Alexander Earl, Clarence Smith, Barney Moffat, and of course, Eric Horn.
We've got a special guest we want to welcome. We first want to wait until the Super Saloon race is done, and then we will welcome a very special guest here. He's sitting on the opposite side of the track. We'll welcome him the moment this Super Saloon race is done. They're going to slow this one down shortly. The yellow flag is out, so they've done the necessary. Now they are under starters orders. They'll get the white flag after this, and then we will go into full racing mode. So Clarence Smith and Eric Horn will occupy the front row of the grid. I think I see Martin Hedler also coming through. He'll probably be there on the inside of Fani Mostert, yes, and Alex Hall will be just in there behind them. So they circulate the oval one more time, making their way into Castile Corner. They'll get the white flags, they're going to have to go around again. They just got the yellow flag to show that the warm-up session was complete. So now they will get the white flag, and then after that the MSA flag, and then off they will go.
Absolutely, here they go. The white flag is up. We have the 1-4 formation back. Everyone bobbing and weaving, trying to get some warmth into the tires. You can't get too close because you get right up close and personal with the car next to you. And the last thing you want is contact before the race even begins. But it is in corner outside. Clarence Smith on the inside for round number 1. There's Ronnie Mossad and Martin England for round number 2. And Alexander Will to finish off in the top 5.
I was going to say, once the number 2 car is going to go, the moment that 129 gets the hammer down, is exactly just that. Ronnie Mossad chasing down Eric Horn at the exit of turn number 1. And then Martin England should basically have a look up on the outside of Clarence Smith, but he will know that Alex Hall will have a look up on his inside.
Yep, and it's a really three-way battle for third place overall as they come through Castro Corner now. This time left-wise in the counterclockwise direction. Now here comes Eric Horn already in that turbo. That's okay, body ahead on the E46 of the Connie Boston. That car previously being Eric Horn's race car, the 222, but now some new competition in that driver's seat. There's already half a lap ahead of the rest of the grid, Eric Horn and Ronnie Mossad.
But it's Alex Hall that's moved up into that third position ahead there of Clarence Smith. In chase down here by Martin Yetling. I would have expected Martin to be at least ahead of Clarence chasing down the 111 that slowed down slightly, but he had tons of understeer coming out at Castle Corner, hit Alex Hall, and the car washed out underneath him, and they had to literally grip it and pull it back again, and that's why he's lost a bit of ground to the 2 cars that's just there behind him.
Yeah, but the gap opening up even more so between Ronnie Mossad and Eric Horn at the front end of the field, and just in a moment, and quite a fast going back, you see Eric Horn fight on the tail, Martin at number 94. They'll try and go around the outside of that open body V8. And he does take that position away. Next up, we'll have Clarence Smith to contend with, and he does just that with ease around the outside.
It's easy in that SLK for Eric Horn as he works his way around and the white flag comes out. Well, if he can catch up to the 111, he would have lapped everybody before the checkered flag, and he's not too far behind the 111 of Alex Hall.
Around the final corner. And it will be checkered flag and all that with time region, the 111. But it will be Eric Horn that take victory in heat number 1 ahead of this man. Ronnie Mossad will hand out the window for the 222, second place in heat number 1. Then as it stood, it would be Alexander Will, as well as that being Clarence Smith and Mike Butler for third and fourth and fifth. Next up, we do have the Eric Horn Transport Super Saloons that make their way out. For their second heat, there was some good competition between those two nose to tail at the moment. They think Ronnie Mossad in the 222 and Eric Horn himself in the 129. An SLK body, fiercely competitive as the white flag waits for them to go and do some laps. There, Eric Horn will just slot through the middle. He says he's not waiting for nobody, but he gets the laps going. Martin Yetling as well, out at the front, getting the laps in on his own, just warming up. He was also quite a fierce competitor last season, so I'm sure he's got some more to do in that open body V8. The number 94 as he comes around. I'm sure we'll see these two fighting as well, Clarence Smith and Alexander Will, as they go for their 2 warm-up laps.
Yeah, we're missing the other Smith, we're missing Grant in the red BMW. He's not going to be out there on track today. It's a quick event. We'd like to have seen Grant Smith out there, but he's gone for a shoulder operation for those people that don't know. Shoulder op for Grant Smith. That's why he is not out there, but Clarence is flying the flag for the brothers on his own today. So we wish Grant Smith well with the shoulder op. and hopefully we'll see him back on track in action in the not too distant future.
Yep, and all those that couldn't be here today, the people that still need cars to be built and cars to be bought and prepped or brought down from different circuits or up country, and those that unfortunately had some mishaps either on Wednesday or on
Well, I see that Eric Horn's got a slight problem, so that will bring out the full course yellow flag. Ian Long just taking the stroll towards him, find out what the problem is there. But the warm-ups have now ended, and we are under full caution yellow.
okay.
Of the laps.
Ian Long and Paul Herald, I don't know, you need to change the lap board in the opposite direction. There we go. Thank you, Judy, for that. Okay,
Once again, the COC would like to see the bottom. Happy birthday, Davy de Beer. We did say happy birthday to him on the CHD group. Today, one of our stalwarts of Cape Helldrivers from back in the day, racing midgets with that 6-cylinder Alpha engine back at Goodwood, and also part of the classic car register at Kalani Main Circuit in the classic car section with the Mark 1 Ford Escort. So happy birthday, lekker verjaar, Davy de Beer.
As now the MSA flag waves and we get ready to meet number 2. It's very sideways, and it's all coming to the start line and losing a bunch of time as those two turbo cars get underway in full power and full boosters through. Goes Unicorn up the inside of Finally Mostert. They go nose to tail into connection corner, and this will complete the first racing lap.
I'll tell you what, it must be an ultimate rush to be strapped into that 129 SLK of Eric Horn. When he gets on the gas, it probably shoves him back into that seat of that 129 SLK Merc as he sits out there in P1, and more or less the same for Finally Mostert in that triple two car as the two of them race down towards Castle Corner with Alex Hall that is there in that third spot. Now, Alex comes all the way from Worcester to come and race down here at Cape Helldrivers. Behind him is Martin Yetling and Clarence Smith.
First and second come across the line. It looks like Clarence Smith is just closing there on Martin Yetling, and we might have a battle for fourth spot overall. As they go through Castrol, our leaders go through Penixton Corner. But Eric Horn is just on a different level at the moment, holding out by quite a considerable gap to Finally Mostert in that second spot. But as you were saying, there's so much power in the SLK and in the BMW that it looks like it's throwing them back in their seat. Even more so, I wouldn't be surprised if those two drivers are getting whiplash.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, they're enjoying it, that's for sure, as they make their way down into Castrol. Remember that Finally Mostert started his motorsport career in the junior mini category right here at Cape Helldrivers. He migrated to the old Tigerberg Raceway. We raced American Saloons, that's V8s there, as well as the late models that Chris Liebenberg had out there at Tigerberg. So he's been around for quite some time, and he's a fairly young man. He's finding, but the checkered flag comes out, and it's Eric Horn that comes home in P1. That very same Finally Mostert will finish in second, and third across the line is the 111 of Alex Hall.
Yep, he was under serious control of that car, sliding it, just coming to the start line on the first lap. But a lot of the guys kicking the tails out on these Super Saloons and still keeping them at racing speed.
It's time for the Eric Horn Super Saloons. RCF 210227, that is a Ford Figo. Can you please move your car, sir? You parked somebody in that needs to leave the track rather urgently. Thank you. Right, here we go with the Super Saloons, and Martin Yetland this time finds himself in pole position with Clarence Smith on his outside. Then you've got Fanny Mostert and Eric Vaughan in the fight. And I'm missing the 117 of, there's Alex Hall. He just got caught out as he wanted to come out onto the track. They let the 2-litre hot rods and the 1660s in. So the moment those cars are in, Alex will come out. He's standing lined up. The marshal is there with him. So the moment these cars go out, they will let the 111 go out onto the circuit.
I think we got it. Yep, there he gets the chance to get out. He just got caught up in the incoming traffic from Park Kermay. Then the 111 gets out into the circuit. And will hopefully get that car up to speed, as they do have their 2 warm-up laps currently underway.
A little bit of bad news. I just looked out the window and I saw that the 17 V8 Sprint of Graham Parkins is on the back of the trailer. So that seems to be the end of that, unfortunately, for the number 17 V8 Sprint of Graham Parkins.
We'll wait now for the yellow flag. There it is. They'll just hold the yellow flag out for them to bring themselves down a bit of speed and get themselves ready for their third heat. We're moving through pretty quick, I would say. Halfway through the third heat of the day. Now coming in tonight. So now all the drivers will slot into their positions on the grid. They will all know exactly where they start. And it will be, because Alexander Will is just half a lap down, he'll just need to speed up. Phil Harold just tells him to move along ever so slightly. Then he gets on the gas. Eric Horn slows down ever so slightly just to point something out to a marshal. And now they've ungrouped themselves. So Martin Ledling will lead them away. He sits in pole on the inside ahead, or next to rather, of Clarence Smith, then Fanny Mostert, and then Eric Horn and Alexander Will. They sit in 4th and 5th respectively.
Right, so Martin Yetling will be in that pole position. I remember Martin Yetling way back in the days when we had the old factory stocks at the Goodwood, who was a champion there. As the flag goes down, and away we go, all nicely bunched up. It's Martin Yetling that leads him there through turn number 1. He's got Alex Hall in that 2nd position, with Clarence Smith in that 3rd spot, and here comes Eric Horn. Eric diving up into that 3rd spot, again sitting there on the outside of Alex Hall.
The 2 quick switch, a bit trafficked up, and hectically trafficked up, as it's too wide between Yetling and Will, but Yetling runs it a little bit wide, going a bit hot into turn number 2, and that closes the gap. Alexander Will now leads on this first flyer, but around the outside, just cutting and weaving straight through to lead on this first lap is Eric Horn, with Will in 2nd, Mostert in 3rd, Yetling and Smith in 4th and 5th.
Well, not much that Alex is going to do about that. SLK Mercedes-Benz is going to just streak ahead of him, which it's done. Now, can Alex keep that 222 or find him Mostert behind him? And if he can, for how long? Mostert will look up on the inside. He'll look up on the inside. Alex is going to have to cover that line. Alex covers that line. He gets rubbed there. Well, rubbing is racing. He gets unsettled there by the 222 of Fanny Mostert, and that will promote Fanny up into that 2nd spot.
Yep, however, what they don't do is just lose Fonnie Mustard a bunch of time to that first spot. So Eddie Korn now abducts and disappears by a very healthy lead. And I'm not sure that Fonnie Mustard's going to have enough in that turbo BMW to catch up to the turbo SSK. Just about in his sights. I'm sure you can see him as they go down the straight. It's Alexander Will, just the car seems to cut out ever so slightly in that third spot, as here comes the battle between Netlin and Smith.
Almost like Alex is on half throttle, working his way down that backtrack. You listen to him when he came past the commentary box. He certainly is not full tilt on that car. Yeah, that's about half throttle, running it down towards Castro.
Yep, as the plan goes, and here it is, 34, he makes it 3 for 3 in all 3 heats, ahead of Fonnie Mustard in the triple 2. That makes it triple 2, 3 2s for the first 3 heats. Alexander Will still half throw, he just about beats these two to the line, and one Netlin picks him up in fourth ahead of Clarence Smith in that first spot in the white BMW E36. To get it right this time, and Yosti Katamari also still outside into the evening, and then goes ice cream. I'm not sure if it's ice cream time now. I'm still sweating. I'm sure you are as well.
It's always ice cream.
So it's always ice cream, absolutely. So a big thank you to them, of course. And then we have to say at the end again, a huge thank you to all our officials, our 2 CRCs, head and secondary, Ian Long and Phil Herald, our entire committee upstairs, and of course I have to say,
And our race day secretary, Teresa Cook, that's sitting over here, and the CHD, the current CHD committee of Vicky Lopsha, and of course Unita Maton, that is here, and in her absence, Michelle Brandt.
and then of course, as always, we have to give a huge thank you to our marshals, the WPMC, Orange Army. They come out on a race day and make sure that everyone is safe, they do their job, and they get things done in the safety of their drivers and those around. And of course our medics that are also here to make sure that everything goes to plan. And so far, I'll touch wood, I'll keep my fingers crossed, we haven't needed any.
Well, remember in the last race we said that Alex Poole was doing half throttle, so clearly there was some kind of a problem. He has come to withdraw, so that 111 Tata with that big powerful V8 motor is not in the finals, unfortunately. So the flag goes down, and away we go. This is going to be a one-on-one between Fonnie Mustard and the man ahead of him, Eric Horn.
Fonnie's finally got some clean air, he's not sitting behind traffic off the start, so now is the time to shine to see what he can do up against that mighty SLK turbo that sits out in front. As I said before, both worked on and tuned by NDT Racing, Leander Toy and his crew. Just here in Kalani itself, in actual fact, these things are rigged and made for this circuit in particular, and you can see how quickly they get up to speed. These two are the very best at what they do. There's one Netlin in third and Clarence Smith in fourth.
Yeah, and of course Martin's been running a constant fourth the whole evening, and with the demise of the 111 Tata of Alex Hall, that automatically promotes Martin up into that third position. So with a couple of fourths and a third, he will possibly be a role player and a contender for a trophy for a top 3. But that's all unofficially from our side. That will be worked out by the lap scorers at the end of the race meeting. But while he has a fight with Clarence Smith, and it's all about the 129 to come around and start his last lap of Eric Horn in P1 and the triple 2 of Fonnie Mustard in that second spot.
Yep, and they're coming up to traffic, but traffic is coming across the line now. Got on the left, and Clarence Smith almost puts it around. And then check it away for that man who does put it around, in fact. Maybe in celebratory fashion, he still comes across the line in first. That is Eric Horn ahead of Fonnie Mustard in the middle of a smoke show.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's lucky that all 4 wheels was on the tarmac. All 4 wheels was just on the tarmac as Martin comes home in third, Martin Netlin, and Clarence Smith comes home in fourth. He's a lucky